me start with you. Known for your very bull case scenario here, $7,000 a share on Tesla by 2024. What gets you to 7,000?
There are a number of variables that get us there. The first is our forecast for electric vehicles in 2024 is 34 million units, up from roughly 2 million last year. So that right there is an exponential growth rate. The second is our gross margin assumption. We are using Wright's Law, which you may have heard us discuss before. Wright's Law gets us from roughly 20% on auto margins in the fourth quarter to roughly 40% during the next 5 years. And then we're also looking at capital efficiency. Capital efficiency, we see now from Shanghai that Tesla can build a car for roughly $1,000 in capital spending per unit. That is one of the lowest rates out there. And finally, our belief that Tesla is furthest ahead in autonomous capability. So in that forecast, we have a 25% chance or probability that Tesla will launch an autonomous taxi network within the next 5 years.
So Ed, let me bring you in here because this strikes home for a lot of people, this ability for autonomous driving. Are we not yet at level 5, or is Tesla not yet leading the way on level 5?
Yeah, so I mean, I think I agree that actually autonomous drive technology is really kind of the key issue here, because I don't see how Tesla can sort of justify its current valuation as an auto manufacturer. And there are other issues with EV forecasts that we can get into too. But I think autonomous is the key issue here, because that's the only way they get out of Wright's Law aside, what is fundamentally a capital-intensive, low-margin business. But when you look at Tesla, its approach to autonomy is very, very different than basically everybody else in the space. They're taking money, they're selling cars into private ownership. They're using a very limited sensor suite in order to make that vehicle affordable. And they're promising that it can do level 5, when basically all the other full autonomy developers are focused on level 4, which means sort of developing a system to be used within a specific geofence and as a robo-taxi fleet, for example, in one city. I think, you know, if we're sort of at the you know, Kitty Hawk stage of autonomous vehicles, I was recently in a Waymo that was fully driverless. You know, I think Tesla is sort of like a guy who's putting down or accepting deposits for like an F-35. What they're promising is so disconnected from where everybody else in the space is. It just doesn't seem plausible.
Cathie, another point that you mentioned on was their margins. Are you fully confident that Tesla is able to be profitable really from here on out?
Yes, on average, on balance, yes. I'd just like to address the autonomous points that Edward made. So autonomous is an artificial intelligence project. Tesla is taking a leaf from Apple's book here. Apple was moving the smartphone market ahead so quickly, so much more quickly than Nokia, Ericsson, and Motorola, that it had to design its own chip. And the rest is history. Tesla is the only auto manufacturer to have designed its own AI chip. And our analyst, our AI analyst, James Wang, who spent 9 years at NVIDIA, took a look at the specs of that chip and said, Tesla is 4 years ahead of any other autonomous or auto manufacturer. The other way it's ahead is with data. The winner in an AI project has the most data and the highest quality data. Tesla has 14 billion plus miles of real-world driving data, while Waymo, the closest competitor in this regard, has 20 million, 14 billion, 20 million, and Tesla has 700,000 cars out on the roads. You could consider them robots collecting this data and sending it back every night. And they have the best AI team, we believe, not just in the auto industry, but maybe in almost any industry.
Right. Ed, final question here to you. Are you doubting Tesla's ability to be profitable from here on out?
Look, I think that they have a lot on their plate that they have to pay for. They have a couple of products, the Semi, the Roadster, and the Model Y, which all have to come out this year. They're building this factory. They're building a factory in Germany that's going to be a lot more expensive. They have a lot to do, and the problem with sort of approaching Tesla as a tech company, people imagine that as like a software company where you sort of make a certain amount of fixed cost investment, and once that's amortized, the variable cost of each additional copy you sell is almost nothing. You know, the auto industry simply isn't like that. And where we see, you know, and Tesla is very easy to understand in terms of these stories, but the problem is that this is not a seed stage startup. This is a company with a track record, and you know, the operational fitness required to be sustainably profitable in this really brutally tough business, you know, is one of habits. This is what we've learned from Toyota. It's about culture, and so you can't just flip a switch and say we're going to be profitable now. It's about developing a culture of continuous improvement and really detail focused, and I just haven't seen that track record there. So between that lack of operational sort of fitness and the huge expenses that they have to deliver on what they've already promised, I think it can be very difficult for them to be profitable.